Okay, now I think we got it. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, in just after the finale of the Ryder Cup has just ended. Um, it is I believe, a 17-11 win for the Europeans. Let me double check that. 16 and a half to 11 and a half. So how did this day finish up? So we came in needing 8.5 to get to, so 6. So it was even. Is it even? Yeah, it was an even thing. Half a point, 1.5 points, 2.5 points, 3.5 points, 4.5 points, 5.5 points, 6 points. Yep. Yeah. So wider margin, 16 and a half, 11 and a half when all said and done. It felt there was the moment, there was the stretches today. I thought we lost early after Rahm beat Scheffler on 18. The 18th hole woes continue for the Americans. That's a thing that keeps happening. So that was a detriment. 1.5 extra points would have went a long way. I know 16 and a half, they would have made it to 11 and a half, would have made it 13, so 15-13, but it makes things a lot different from those 1.5 points that they dumped on Friday afternoon. Dumped up like a half a point in the morning on Saturday, just not being able to finish. So there were chances for this U.S. team. It's a 5-point margin at the end of the day, but it felt closer at times. At times, it felt much wider, much wider. Had not been Patrick Cantlay down the stretch yesterday, then this thing wouldn't have been remotely close. Even coming into Sunday, like there wouldn't even have been this like outside prayer of making the biggest comeback of all time. Sorry, I'm just gonna do this. I'm tweeting out the link to the live stream here, so I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna do that. All right. There we go. It's out. So, yeah. So, 16 and a half, 11 and a half. Some good moments today. Max Homa, after trying to gag it away on 7 and 16 by banging one out into the water when Fitz was out there, he makes an incredible up and down, makes like an 8-footer to tie the hole and win the full point and keep it going. Brooks Koepka pretty much has his way with Ludwig Eberge. I don't even know how we say it now. Aubert. Spieth ties Lowry, in kind of a crazy match. After being down too early, Xander Schauffele comes back. Justin Thomas gets a win. Said Koepka, Max Homa. Patrick Cantlay, another gutty win. Justin Rose just turns into some sort of god, apparently, in this event. Scotty Scheffler and Jon Rahm played an incredible match. MVP of the weekend, Victor Hovland, just absolutely guts Morikawa, gets out early and just keeps going. Rory McIlroy, after the dust up last night, he has himself a hell of a day. I think he was 8 under through 17 holes. Just Sam Burns just happened to be the guy who had to be the sacrificial lamb. And Burns even made it interesting kind of late, made a birdie on 13 of 16. And then, the end of the match, Ricky Fowler with, in hindsight, I thought when he gave Fleetwood the putt on 16 after he banged one out into the water, that ended their match, and it didn't. It just made him 2 up with 2 to go. Like it didn't register to me when that was happening that wasn't just like giving that putt was over. Now I don't have the biggest deal with it. It was still a little weird, but yeah. So all in all, the fact of the matter is, the European team showed the fuck up, and especially their top guys. If you look at the stats, I saved a picture of this. Rahm, McIlroy, Hovland, 10.5 points. And they didn't play together one time. So those were 10.5 points all spread around. They accounted for 10.5 of the 16.5 points. That's what it came down to. The top dogs for the European team were fucking killers. And the top dogs for the United States team, outside of Max Homa, who went 3-1-1, were not. It's just what it boils down to. Let me see if they have the Wikipedia all updated already. They sure do. Thank you, people. Yeah, split the final session 6-6. Split Saturday 4-4, and then just the disaster that was Friday. Lose all the matches in the morning. You know, you're going up 3-1 coming down the stretch, and instead of it being a 3-1 Friday afternoon, Friday afternoon, it's a 2.5, 1.5 European afternoon. Just an absolute disaster. And then Saturday morning, Schauffele and Cantlay had a chance as well. So I mean, if it's there's your 2 extra points, if not more, that they left in those 2 days. Oh yeah, not great. And so it'll be 2027 next time the Americans get a chance on foreign soil. That'll be 34 years when that rolls around. They have split. The cups have been split the last 4 years now. Last 5, 16. It's since COVID and the year swap. I'm screwed up. 16 was an American win. 18 was a European win. 21. So last 4 matches. And 5, I mean, if you go back to 14, they've alternated matches since 2014. There's only been in this millennia, in this century, there's only been 2 road wins. That's 04, right? 02 would have been in Europe. 04 was in America. That was a win for Europe. And then in 12, the miracle at Medina. So there's this thing where you don't really win on the road. 04 was a comically weak United States team, and 12 was just another collapse by the United States. But the other ones, 2008 was a similar point differential. 2012 was close. 2016 was pretty big. 2021, obviously the biggest ever. 2018 was a big one too. It's like there's been some big ones. It was nice that this one was even close for a while, because it was like an outside chance that it was going to matter coming down the stretch. Could you imagine if we get one of these that's like really close on Sunday and like really matters? Like 2016 was pretty sweet, if I remember correctly. Like that one was pretty tight from time to time. Let me find it here and find how that all broke down. It was 9.5 to 6.5 going into Sunday singles. And points on the board at one point, it was 10.5 to 9.5, because Europeans had put 3 of the first 4 points on the board. It got to be a runaway late, and the Americans ended up winning that session 7.5, 4.5. But there was like some intrigue. Like, can we imagine like if we have like a 9-7, an 8.5, 7.5, like going into Sunday? This event is so sweet. It's my favorite golf event of the year. It might be my favorite sport. If it's not my favorite sporting event, it's pretty close. Like maybe March Madness. NFL season overall is greater, but incredible. Just an incredible event. It's so fun to watch. We're going to sit here and dissect things, and I'm going to say things about what I think the U.S. needs to do moving forward. But I fucking love watching this thing, man. It's so great. It's so much fun. Just awesome. So, yeah, let's look at some records, because there's some gaudy ones on the Europeans, obviously. They have 2 guys go 5 matches, Rory and Victor Hovland. Victor Hovland goes 3-1-1. Rory goes 4-1-0. John Rahm plays 4 matches, goes 2-0-2, does not lose a match, and finds a way to have 2 matches coming down 18 that are absolutely crucial. Justin Rose, his 1-1-1 felt way better than that. It felt like he was doing that thing where he makes every fucking putt and points at every fucking person in the crowd again. But again, those are the big guys. That's the thing. Points. Rory got 4 points. Rahm got 3 points. Victor Hovland got 3.5. 3.5 from Tyrrell Hatton. I think he played a lot with the dudes. So it was impressive. Shane Lowry 1-1-1. Anybody? Nikolai Højgaard did not get a full point. He was the only the only European to not win a match. He and Fitzpatrick and Sepp Straka are the only guys with losing records. On the U.S. side, it is much bleaker. Much bleaker. Winning records. Ooh, they're hard to find. Max Homa 3-1-1. Brian Harmon went 2-2. Patrick Cantlay went 2-2. Wyndham Clark went 1-1-1. God, it felt worse than that for Wyndham. So one guy with a winning record. Oh, oofta. Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth do not win a match. They go 0-2-2. Not good. I mean, you needed Scotty Scheffler to be a 3-point getter. You needed Spieth to get 1.5, 2 points. Justin Thomas 1-2-1. He was saddled with Jordan Spieth. Wins his singles match. The tie on his record is strictly because he was just carrying Spieth down the stretch in their 4-ball match that they tied. Xander Schauffele, very disappointing, 1-3-0. Colin Morikawa, 1-3-0. Brooks Koepka, 1-1-1, but he kind of steals one. Just felt like he wasn't a big deal like he should have. Only played 3 matches. Ricky Fowler. We probably need to discuss Ricky Fowler. 0-2. He does not play at all on Saturday. His career Ryder Cup record now, 3-9-5. And teams he's been on are 1-4. It got to a point where it was like Ricky's on the team. And there was a stretch where I don't know when that got to be, somewhere around after the US Open. Then he got that win. He was never like at the top of the points list. He was kind of near the bottom of like the qualifying, like the 12, 11, 13, 14 range. And there was just a point where it's like Ricky's on the team. And I just, in hindsight, I remember joking around with Slano about it, because Slano's a big Ricky guy. I'm like, he sucks. Like, we shouldn't take him. And then I never really thought about it. Like, I never got into it and be like, we really shouldn't take him. I just was like, oh, he's on the team. Like, it's going around. And in hindsight, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have been like more of hey, we should not take Ricky Fowler because he stinks. Jordan Spieth, in hindsight, you wouldn't take him. He was terrible. I think you take Justin. I think the Justin Thomas pick, I know he goes 1-2-1, but I think it was proven this whole week that why you take him. He's an absolute fire starter. He grinds his face off. I thought he was fucking fantastic today. I know you're getting fucking smoked and he's out there doing the fake hat tip and freaking out, but like, somebody's got to do it, because I mean, maybe Max Homa is starting to show himself to be one of those guys, but who else on that list will? Nobody. So like, you got to do it. Xander also doing fake hat tips. Patrick Cantlay, the stones he showed the last 2 days was good. But yeah, this is a team that we thought could do this, and they don't. And I think there's some questions about the Zach Johnson captaincy that need to be addressed. It just didn't seem right the whole way. Now, that said, there was all that shit being said about Stricker last year. Like, he doesn't speak, he's not putting out a great face, but the beauty of it all is winning solves everything. If you win, Zach Johnson's the fucking greatest U.S. captain in how many years? Like, through the bumbles and the weird responses, through all of that, through bench and Ricky, through everything. Like, if they win, if they pull off the miracle today, Zach Johnson led that team. That's what the story would be. If they don't blow all the points coming down the stretch, like, the captaincy was bad, probably. But I mean, it's in the long run, it's determined down the course. I mean, there's the leak that Patrick Cantlay was staging a coup, and we're gonna get to that, that whole discussion. But like, that didn't appear to be a big thing, unless, I mean, Thomas and Spieth go out hatless. Like, it felt like there was a little bit of like, hey, we're taking shots back at you with that. But yeah, Zach Johnson, I don't think he is the answer. I don't know who else you go to for captains. At Bethpage, I think that was penciled in to be Phil's captaincy for years. Like, I think if you were looking out the looking out the stretch of stuff, and you're like Phil at Bethpage, New York. Bethpage people, New York people fucking love Phil. Like that was going to be his. I obviously don't think that's happening now. This one may have been Tigers, honestly, until he got all hurt. He was the captain in 2019 at the President's Cup. So, I mean, maybe he was lined up. Maybe you run Tiger back out next time in 2025. But, I mean, the only other assistant captain was Stuart Sink. Like, is Stuart Sink our guy to be a Ryder Cup captain? I don't know about that. Sam Burns. Sam Burns showed some fire. And, again, he ran into a fucking buzzsaw today. Any reports, apparently, that said Rory and Joe LaCava cleared things up turned out to be not true at all. So yeah, the not a great great weekend for the golf media, you could say. I'm just scrolling Twitter to see if there's anything else here that's popped up. Okay, let's talk Hatgate then. Ooh, here's a good one. Captain's picks 4, 12, and 4 on the week. Big Randy from NLU. ZJ's captain's picks went 4, 12, and 4 in the week. More disqualifying, in my opinion, is the lack of literally one interesting thing he said all week. If you're going to get boat raced, at least be entertaining. This was a dull failure, the worst kind. He goes, I'm in favor of a Phil captain at Adair Manor. Maybe 2027 is a long way away. Maybe Phil, they mend fences by then. There's the whole, kind of merger, new company thing that's coming between Liv. There was a cooling of sorts. But maybe here we go. Here's the last 5 Ryder Cups. 2014 Europe, 16.5 to 11.5, 16, 17 to 11, 18, 17.5 to 10.5. 21, 19 to 9, 23, 16.5 to 11.5. 5-point margin is the closest Ryder Cup in the last decade. That stinks. I'm hoping for something closer. So yeah, moving forward, what happens? I think, I don't know if I was floating around earlier in the week. Maybe the answer is 12 captains picks. Like, go pick the guys who want to be there. Like Keegan wanted to be there. Maybe that's the answer. And they went buddy system. Like, I didn't argue against it. I thought pairing Sam Burns with Scotty Scheffler would be a good pair. I thought you take Justin Thomas, and since you're taking Justin Thomas, you're taking Jordan Spieth. And Jordan Spieth was like 7th or 8th in the points. Like, we can go back in history now and be like, oh yeah, I wouldn't take Jordan Spieth knowing how the weekend went. But like, going into it, you're gonna take him. Not that his Ryder Cup record is all that extravagant outside of his time with Justin Thomas. I mean, he had a good run with Patrick Reed for a while. But I still don't think he has a Ryder Cup singles win. But maybe the answer is 12 captains picks going forward. And you pick the guys that really want it. I mean, and that was a question. Did Patrick Cantlay really want to be there? Now, I would say his play on Saturday afternoon and Sunday says, yeah, he wanted to be there. He wanted to win. And maybe he just wanted to shove it up people's asses after all that stuff came out. But Xander Schauffele, like, they were in the same boat. Like, there's always questions floating around the American team. Do these guys want to be there? Like, Max Homa wants to be there. Justin Thomas wants to be there. So I think Spieth wants to be there. Scotty wants to be there. Is Brooks Koepka a guy that wants to be there? Like, I'm sure they all want to be there and they all want to win, like, when they get there. But like, the fucking Euros, man, they live for this shit. Like, Luke Donald was the number 1 player in the world, and they interviewed him. He's like, this is the best moment of my golfing career. Like, these guys just show the fuck up for it. And I tweeted out, like, if the fucking Euros played like they play in the Ryder Cup, like, these guys would all have like 10 majors, like Rory and Rose and Rahm. And Rahm's still probably going to win a bunch, and Rory has won 4, but like Tommy Fleetwood, and then there was the Sergios and the Westwoods, and like all these dudes who don't have the major success that, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa and Brooks Koepka have had. and, obviously in the past, your Tigers and your Phils, that just really ball out for it because they fucking live for this shit. Maybe the answer is you got to find ways to get more guys on the American side to really live for it. And again, we don't have this, like, if the U.S. wins this week, there is zero conversation. Like, we've done it, the task force, we fixed it, we got it. Like, there was also something floated around that maybe you just have like an all-time like coach that oversees the whole program. I don't know if that works because then some people are, we should get somebody from outside golf. That's fucking stupid, but I don't know. I mean, the answer at the end of the day is you got to play better. And I know the people be like, oh, there's more to it. But like the end of the day, the European team wins because they make more putts, they hold out more chips, they hit better drives, they hit better approach shots. Like, that's what it is. Hat game. Okay. So if he was wearing a hat not wearing a hat to protest the fact that they weren't getting paid. And I looked this up, and Jamie Weir's tweet said that they get paid in the President's Cup, but I don't think that's true. I know they said on No Laying Up it's not true, the podcast, but then I looked it up. It doesn't seem that way. It seems they just get $250,000 to disperse to charities how they want to. Now, it was also said that 20% of the TV money gets sent from the PGA of America, which obviously is a different thing than the PGA Tour. PGA of America, which runs the Ryder Cup and the PGA Championship, has nothing to do with the PGA Tour. But there's some sort of agreement that they send some money from this event, the TV money. 20% of the TV money goes back to the PGA Tours and goes into pensions. Now, granted, the guys playing in this event don't see it directly. It gets to their pension. That probably gets split up among all the pensions. If I had to guess, I don't know for sure. I'm talking a little out over my skis here. That said, it's hard to imagine a world where, and I know these guys make a lot of money, and I know they play for a lot of money, a lot of weeks, and represent your country 1 week a year seems like something that should be a no-brainer. And that the scene is awesome. And, if I could do it, I'd fucking give anything to play in a Ryder Cup, right? But, like, then those guys do it, and they look around, and they're like, holy shit, look at all these people. Look at all these sponsors. Look at these fucking they're not skyboxes, but, these hospitality tents. Like, there's a lot of money coming in. Let's look up how much money did the 2021 Ryder Cup make? Come on. Here we go. Money behind the Ryder Cup. Oh, it's a fucking Substack thing. Thought I saw some. Brings in revenues of 80 to 100 million. 80 to 100 million. Like, there's 24 dudes out there like that are the reason it happens. And there's $100 million being brought in. That's something. Like, it's something. I mean, it's a big thing with like college sports. Like, oh, there's all this money. It's like, oh, but the education you get, and the moment, and can you imagine wanting to get paid for this? Like, yeah, I can imagine wanting to get paid for something. If somebody's making $100 million off what I'm doing, I can imagine wanting to get paid. Like, I don't think it's the most ridiculous thing to think. And now it seems that now it's going to probably come out in like a week that maybe this is all true. But it seems like the United States team worked pretty together, and Patrick Cantlay balled out after all this. So I can't complain too much with his play, but I don't think it's ridiculous that these guys want to get paid for something that makes a lot of money. Now the Europeans are like, oh, no, you can't do it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that says something, but I don't know. It's interesting. I have a hard time getting really upset at somebody for being like, yeah, I'd like to get paid. I have a hard time getting upset about that. So, what else? Anything else here? I think that's about it. Fun week. Foursomes. I don't know if I saw the stat is real. You're 16 under and 20 under in foursomes, something like that in the 2 days. Gotta play better in foursomes, man. We get smoked in foursomes every time we go there. So I don't know if they have a future site for the next European Ryder. No, Adair Manor, I believe, is where it is. Yes, Adair Manor in Republic of Ireland. I think that might be the first time they've ever gone there. We're going Bethpage, Hazeltine, which has been good to us, Olympic Club in 2033, and Congressional in 2037. So I love the Ryder Cup. It sucks it's only every 2 years. So in 2 more years, we'll do this all over again. All right, everybody. We'll catch you all next time. And this part's going to get rolled in the pod, so we'll